Hello, I'm Mimi and I'm a digital artist, always struggling to find some balance in my life as a content creator, working for myself. So as the seasons change throughout November, from beautiful autumn trees to frosty cold mornings, it feels like a natural time to reset and get back on track with what's important for myself and in my business. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, but more on that later. I've been starting to feel like I've gotten off course and that something needs to change, so the best thing that I can do is get away from the computer for a bit and take some long walks in the beautiful Yorkshire countryside to figure out what's not quite working and what I can change to get back on track. I think part of the problem is that I've slowly fallen into looking at the metrics that platforms like YouTube and Instagram show me, but those numbers don't always measure what's important to me. YouTube gives me a ranking of how well my latest video is performing compared to the previous ones, and so it's really easy to feel like I'm on a hamster wheel constantly trying to outperform myself, but only according to the metrics that YouTube puts forward to me. That's not what I started sharing videos for, and I know that the most important thing to me is the people and what my community thinks. I want to make things that I like and I'm excited to share with people because I enjoy what I do the most when it's just me as a 30-something-year-old sharing with my community of humans on the internet something that we're all excited about, and that's what I need to focus on. So action step number 1 is to ignore the numbers on a daily basis and instead focus fully on community again. And I'll just come back to the data when it's helpful for my business to analyze what my community engages with the most. Part 2 of my problem is that I thought I'd try posting weekly videos consistently, and even though I love making these videos, the weekly content is just a bit too quick for me. They take a lot of time and energy, so I think it makes sense to slow down again so that I have time to recharge between videos. It's scary because a big part of my income comes from YouTube and sponsorships, so there's always a pressure in the back of my mind to make sure that I do everything I can to maintain views and create more videos. But I don't need to aim for growth all the time. When I've reached my comfortable limit, I should listen to that. So action step number 2 for November is to slow down the video content when it feels too quick for my creativity to be able to keep up with. My third problem is that I always have more on my to-do list than I can comfortably do, which means that I often feel behind even though I'm still doing lots, and that's not sustainable. I'm overambitious and tend to overcommit to things, so at the moment I find myself trying to juggle weekly YouTube videos, lots of Patreon benefits throughout the month, posting on Instagram here and there, working on a digital art course for beginners, illustrating picture books, and also trying to make general improvements to my small business. Obviously, the math doesn't add up, so action step number 3 is to just focus on one project at a time in addition to my regular content, rather than trying to do a million things all at once. So those are 3 things that I can do in November to get back to my roots as a content creator and hopefully feel more balanced. The simplest thing I can do to start with is to take a short break from making YouTube videos every week by just making 1 or maybe 2 videos in November. That way I've got more time in the month to recharge a bit and let myself work on the things that I really want to work on without worrying about my weekly content schedule. I'm also going to go back to ignoring most of the insights on Instagram and YouTube so that I can focus on community and enjoying what I'm making. So the main project that I want to start working on this month is Christmas content because I'm hosting my 3rd digital advent calendar over on Patreon, and that starts December 1st, so I definitely want to start drawing some festive ideas. I love drawing wintry illustrations, and since I'm in the UK this year and actually going to be in a cold climate instead of Australia, I'm excited to lean into the cozy winter illustrations. For now, I'm just sketching out ideas, and then throughout the month I can start doing some more finished illustrations and planning out exactly what treats I want to include in the advent calendar this year. I can also use things like this for my Patreon content to show my patrons behind the scenes and get their opinion on my sketches to get 2 uses out of these drawings. It's really nice to relax a bit from the intensity of weekly YouTube videos, and I feel like I already have a lot more headspace to feel creative and just focus on some things that I haven't really had a chance to get around to. If you're looking to recharge your creativity, then I want to quickly tell you about Skillshare, which is the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, and they have thousands of classes on topics like entrepreneurship, illustration, and digital art. I particularly like their learning pathways like this one called Your Creative Business, Build It, Brand It, Launch It, which includes a curated sequence of classes for developing a successful business all in one place. The business side of making a living as an artist is really easily overlooked, but is so important for setting yourself up for success, and I love that classes like this make information for creative entrepreneurs so accessible. I also have my own class on Skillshare which has over 1,000 students now, called Plan Your Creative Business, Your Path to Creating Income as an Artist. It's all about defining a path that works for you and your skills when you're looking to make some money from your art. You can watch all of these classes for free because the first 500 people to click the link in the description can get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, which gives you lots of time to watch classes that inspire you for the new year. Thanks so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So I've been trying to update the Patreon page of my website for months so that it showcases what's actually available on my Patreon, so I want to spend an afternoon designing a new page layout, and then I'll get my partner Dan to put it together on Squarespace. I'm familiar enough with the design capabilities of Squarespace that I can mock up roughly what I want the page to look like in Photoshop, and then I know that Dan will be able to recreate it. Doing it this way just feels a bit easier for me to experiment with things like colors and what assets that I want to use. The website looks so much better now. This task has been hanging over me for what feels like ages, so to be able to actually tick it off feels like a big win and will hopefully help show people what's available on my Patreon before they decide if they want to join or not. I'm going to do a bit more prep for festive illustrations, so I've put on a Christmas movie in the background while I prepare a border for a reel that I'm making for Instagram. I thought it would be fun to share some festive drawing prompts with people, so I'm making a reel with the prompts that I'll share just before December for anyone who isn't sure what to draw, and this is just going to be the border for that. I've been using my crayon texture brushes a lot lately to add texture to my illustrations, and it always comes out so nicely. I don't think I've drawn anything in months that hasn't used these brushes. I've also got some admin and accounting to be done, which isn't very fun to keep on top of, but is really important when you work for yourself, and thankfully I don't ever have very much to do. Then I've got some more regular content to make for November, mostly for Patreon, especially this month since I'm making fewer YouTube videos. So I've got a step-by-step guide to make, which this month is about drawing pine trees, and then also a lesson video which I'm making about how to tell a story with your art. Then all that's left to do is the extra fun stuff of preparing some illustrations and benefits for my digital advent calendar, which is probably one of my favorite things that I make all year. These days I just do 12 days of gifts because I did 25 one year and it was way too many, and it means that I can focus on making useful resources like brush stamps and little tutorials, but I won't show you too much of that because it's a secret for my patrons. And just like that, it's the end of November, and right on cue the weather has changed and become so snowy and festive just in time for December. I've felt much more balanced after making some simple changes and giving myself a break from the things that were taking the most energy. I think from now on I'll go back to making fewer YouTube videos again, probably a couple a month, because I love making them but they do take so much energy and time, so let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you'd like to see from me in the new year. And if you'd like to join my digital advent calendar, you can join any tier of my Patreon anytime in December to get access to all of the advent benefits. Tiers start at just a few dollars, so it really is the best value time of the year to join if you've been thinking about it. I've already shared some festive wallpapers and snowflake brush stamps, and there will be tutorials and more brushes to come. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already for more art videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!